You are listening to your New Puppies Podcast, starting you and your dog off on the right paw. Here's your host, Debbie Salento.
Hello and welcome to episode 36 of your New Puppies Podcast. I'm Debbie, and today we're going to talk about 4 mistakes that new puppy owners make. So hopefully you can avoid them, and then of course we'll talk about what you should be doing instead. And I like to talk about these not so I can point out what everybody's doing wrong, not even close. I like to talk about these because they tend to be issues that you don't even know exist, that you don't even know that they're mistakes. So let's dive right into the first one, which is we give the puppy too much freedom too soon. And what I mean by this is you bring the puppy home and you let them have the run of the whole first floor of the house. Or you bring them outside and you let them just run around off leash and kind of do what they want to do, even if you have a fenced-in backyard. And the reason why this happens is understandable because when you imagine yourself with your dog, you imagine him, putzing around the house while you cook dinner or sleeping on the couch or running around in the backyard. But we don't have a dog yet. We have a puppy who doesn't know how to live in our world yet. We have to teach them everything and all of the house rules. And the best way to do that is to have as much control over their environment as possible, which means keeping their world closely supervised and small. They don't automatically get this freedom because they've become part of your family. They have to earn this freedom as they learn the rules, as you start to trust them, as they develop a bond with you and they start to listen and understand what you want from them. So you'll get to that dog who has free range of the house and you don't have to worry about, but we have some stuff to do before we get there. So what we're going to do is you keep their immediate world small and then you grow it slowly under close supervision. So when you first bring them home, maybe they only have access to one room. You can bring them into other rooms, but maybe they're on a leash. Maybe they're even tethered to you, or you're right on top of them. Because the other way to think about this is the more freedom we give them, the more places they have to go, the more trouble they can get into. And another thing to consider is if you have a puppy who maybe is a little more strong-minded, has a mind of her own, they're going to very quickly learn, well, if I can do what I want over here, like say you bring them out in the backyard and they can run around and chew on sticks and do whatever they want, and you can't really get to them quickly, they'll very quickly learn that why do I have to listen to you when I can go run over here and do whatever I want? I can grab this rock and run to the back of the yard and you can't get it from me because I'm quicker than you. So this is why you have to develop a trust and some good habits and good behaviors, and you can start to give them a little bit more freedom. Let them go out on their own a little bit as you trust them, as you can see that they're starting to make good decisions because you have taught them what they are. The second mistake I see new puppy owners make is underestimating the importance of socialization. So there's kind of 2 parts to this. First, a lot of times when we think socialization, all we think about is, oh yeah, I'm going to let my dog play with other dogs, which is part of socialization, but it's only a small part of it. When we talk about socializing your dog, you want them to learn how to interact with their entire environment. So that includes people, places, sounds, textures, grass, stairs, being handled by humans. All of that is part of your dog's socialization, as well as playing and learning how to interact with other dogs. The second part of this is we need to do socialization early. The prime time, the most effective time for socialization, so exposing your dog to all different things, is between the ages of 3 to 16 weeks. And that tends to be the time where we're keeping our dog inside our house. Unfortunately, sometimes it's at the advice of our own vets or breeders. And if you want to learn more about balancing this socialization and vaccines, which is what I'm talking about, I talk all about that in episode 21. So socialization is the one type of training that we can't put off. We have to do it now. If we put it off, it's just going to become harder. We can do obedience later. Heck, we can even teach them, proper chewing and house rules later. But socialization, just because of a dog's development and the way their brain matures, we need to do it now. And what socialization does is it creates that confident dog that you can take anywhere. You can have people over, you can board them places and not really have to worry about them because you know that they'll be comfortable in these new places and with these new people. An under-socialized dog is that dog that's very nervous to be in a new place, that's slow to warm up with people, and can even be reactive towards other dogs. And in extreme cases, under-socialized dogs can become aggressive because a fearful dog is more likely to be aggressive than a confident dog. In fact, in Your Perfect Puppy, which is my 4-week puppy course for new puppy owners, the socialization lesson is by far the biggest lesson because it is the most important. So what you're going to do is if you have your puppy now, even if they're above 16 weeks, because socialization goes on for a long time, it's just the most effective before 16 weeks. So you're just going to get them out there and bring them to a new park or a new store or, a soccer game, anywhere that is new and you can bring your dog. Even if it's a friend's house with different smells and a different backyard. And if you have a puppy coming soon, then just be ready to hit the ground running and getting your puppy out there and exposing them to new people, new environments, as well as playing and interacting with other dogs. So let's move on to the third mistake I see, which is ignoring behaviors, thinking that they'll just grow out of them. And the dangerous part about this one is that there is a little bit of truth to it. Because yes, as they grow up, they're going to have less energy. Their need to explore and discover everything and put everything in their mouths and chew on everything will become less. And they'll also grow out of those rebellious stages that puppies notoriously go through. But the catch is when they're puppies, this is when they're learning new habits, new rules, how to interact with their world for better or for worse. So for example, your puppy has all of this extra energy and they start barking at you for attention, which, even though we don't want to admit it, may start to work. So then as they get older, even though they don't have all this energy to burn, they have this habit of barking at you when they want your attention. And now we have this really bad habit that we have to break. In a perfect world, we don't want our puppies to even discover all of these behaviors, or at the very least, we want to nip them in the bud. And this takes a lot of work because they are discovering everything and they are going to try every bad habit and every bad behavior out there until we tell them no. So we get a little tired, we get a little overwhelmed, and to make things easier on ourselves, we start letting things go, which is completely understandable, but it can be a slippery slope because yes, they'll grow up and have less energy. Yes, the inappropriate chewing will be a lot less. But the more a dog does a behavior, the more it becomes a habit. So there's always that chance that these puppy behaviors, if we let them go, will stick with them into adulthood. And the last one is a big one, is you mistake boredom or lack of exercise for bad behaviors. For example, one day your puppy is just nipping like crazy and you can't get them to stop. And you try everything and you end up just getting frustrated because you're addressing the actual nipping. When really, the reason why they're acting a little crazy and they're nipping a whole lot is because they have a whole lot of energy. Or they're bored and they're trying to entertain themselves. And this is especially common as our dogs get older, because when they're really young, when they're like 8, 12, even 16 weeks, they're sleeping a lot. They don't have they have bursts of energy, but they also take a lot of naps. And as they get into 5, 6 months, the naps stop and the energy increases. So we were spoiled by this sleeping puppy where now all of a sudden all these behaviors are happening that they've never done before. And we think we have this misbehaving puppy when really we just have to up their exercise. We have to make sure we're entertaining them even more. And when we recognize that, we can address that problem by, taking them for a walk, doing a couple extra training sessions, booking an extra day at daycare, whatever we need to do. Otherwise, if, all of a sudden they're barking at us for attention, or they're nipping more, or they've all of a sudden started chewing on the couch, so we stop them from doing one behavior, they're going to jump to the next, because really what they're trying to do is to entertain themselves or release this energy. So we're just putting Band-Aids on the problem and not addressing that underlying problem that would resolve all of these other behaviors. Because remember, a tired dog is a good dog always. So having a puppy, raising a puppy, training a dog is not something that comes natural to us humans. It's a skill that we have to practice and learn. So there's going to be a lot of mistakes that we make. These are just 4 common ones that I see that are easily avoidable if you're aware of them. So that is all I have for you today. I will be speaking with you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to your New Puppies podcast. Learn more about us at playtimepaws.com.
Hello, Debbie here. I just wanted to pop back in to let you know about my brand new 4-week puppy course. So if you're thinking about getting a puppy, or maybe you already have one, this is my new 4-week course where I go over all the stuff that you need to get through puppyhood. So it's a lot of stuff that I talk about on the podcast, but I go into greater detail, and throughout the course, you have direct access to me to answer all of your questions. And there's even an option for a one-on-one training video session with me throughout the course. So if you're interested, you can head over to playtimepaws.com/puppy, and I hope to see you over there. Bye for now.